Kingdom of Cards, we've just released the Bumper Video Game Quiz book featuring over 1,000 questions.
It features 1,000 questions plus from everything in gaming from 1962 to the present day, and it's available from Amazon worldwide, and the link is in the description below. Thank you, and enjoy the video.
Thank you, bye.
Hello, so, Britt here, and this video initially started as me just wanting to look at the Atari 130 XE that our friend kindly gave to us a while ago and we haven't had a chance yet to look at. I did film a little bit where I was going to open the box, sort of film myself piecing it all together, and then just look at all the games we've got for a system I'd never played before, or never even heard of it until we received it. But when I opened the box, it's still got the polystyrene in the original packaging, which is awesome, but it didn't have any cables with it, and I think what's happened is during the move from our old flat to this one, we've obviously just put the cable somewhere and, you know, the power pack, and I thought I'm not spending an entire evening digging it out and looking through boxes of cables, which is something I'm sure we're all familiar with. So I just thought, well, while I was digging around for stuff, I found the stuff of the Commodore and the Amiga 500 that I've got, and it just got me thinking, and what made me want to do this video is that the Commodore's a bit of a weird one for me, because when I was young, my first computer, like 8-bit computer, was the Amstrad CPC, which we've got. But again, I'm missing certain cables for it that I never seem to get around to picking up, and every time I want to play it, I end up just with the Commodore because it's always to hand. But my memories of the Commodore and the Amstrad are like a little bit different to, I think, when I watch a lot of top 100 videos, a lot of them include sort of platform games and puzzle platform games, and whilst they're cool, they're not the ones I've sort of specifically grew up loving. I mean, I was a big fan of text adventures and graphic adventures. So going back through, as we've collected all these Commodore games throughout the years, going back through them, I find it really interesting because I only had a handful of games when I was a kid, and the games I did play on the Commodore were with my uncle, and it was stuff like Ikari Warriors or Kung Fu Master and stuff like that, and, you know, a few racing games. So going back through now, I realised that they've got like a really cool odd things, like it's very British, so you've got a lot of really cool like darts games, pub games, and fruit machine simulators and trivia sort of games, which still hold up pretty well today. So, and obviously you've got Action Biker starring Clumsy Collins, sponsored by Skips, and Gunfighter, which is hands down the best game on the Commodore 64, which I might play a bit of today. But I just wanted to sort of go through our collection and just play a load of games I've never come across before, and just, you know, listen to the SID chip music on the load-in screens and just see how see what it all holds up, and just see where a lot of the inspiration for modern, because I'm much more open now to platform games and puzzle platform games and stuff like that, just see where the sort of inspiration came from in the 80s. So yeah, this is just going to be me playing a load of Commodore games and listening to some awesome SID chip music, which is absolutely fine. Now, I said I wasn't going to play games I'd already played, but obviously Gunfighter has to happen. I'm not stupid. So yeah, I just wanted to... Gunfighter to me is one of the best games on the Commodore 64, and I just wanted to sort of show everyone a bit of that. But what a lot of people will probably notice is that I'm playing this on an LCD sort of flat screen. And that's because we did have a CRT, but sadly it gave up the goose a little bit a few months ago, and because of the lockdown we haven't had a chance to pick one up. So... But I've got to be fair, it's pretty good actually on this TV. It's a little bit of a finicky aerial. I think that's just the RF cable, but you know, that's fine. It flickers in and out. And I never ever had a joystick when I grew up. I always played these games with a pad at the time, like a Master System pad, but I've got a Mega Drive pad today. So I'll be playing this. So Gunfighter and Action Biker are the two that I usually start off with. And for those unfamiliar with Gunfighter, it's a game where you play the sheriff of a town where the townsfolk have sort of been kicked out by sort of various bad guys, and you have to sort of go around picking up the 12 deeds to the town whilst also avoiding these sort of bad guys, these wanted criminals who you have to take out. And I think from memory they've got names like Clint Westwood and stuff like that. So yeah, there's no music on this load screen, so we'll kick back in when it's all booted up and ready to rock, and I'll show you some Gunfighter by Tony Love. What a man. So here we go. I'm the sheriff of this town. Hugo, you're always in town. So there he is. Dead. Boom. You have to go into the sheriff's office to refill your gun. So what I'm doing here is going around. I'm looking for the deeds, and you'll see them when they rock up on the floor, so I can get the town back. There's no map in this game, I don't think, but you can see in the top left. So TP Wigwam is in town. And what's terrifying about these encounters, to me this is one of the earliest survival horror games, because every now and again they kind of tell you where those characters are. Like TP Wigwam is the one after me now, the sort of wanted guy. And when they come on the screen there's a bit of slowdown, but it's very filmic. It actually kind of fits the game, and it turns into a sort of shootout where I've only got 6 bullets and I just need to hit him once. And also there's an infinite death loop that happens. So TP Wigwam is near the dry goods. Now, I don't know what that is. I'm not going to bet in the casino. I'm just going to shoot off. Was he in the trading store? No, oh, but there's a deed. That is a satisfying sound. So, yeah, just got to pick up 11 more of those to finish the game, but obviously that's harder said than done. The fact that the only sound of your... Well, there's the dock here. I think you can pay money to heal yourself if you've been shot, but I don't need to do anything there. I think there's another version of this, because this version, it says at the bottom of the screen there, I think I've quoted, this version is by Tony Love. And I've tried to track him down for an interview because this is one of my favourite games on the Commodore 64. I think there's like an Amstrad and I assume a Spectrum port, but this is the only one I'm familiar with. And I don't know, I just think it's got surprisingly like nice colours for the Commodore. I know it's a budget title by Atlantis Software. But I love the sort of just, you can only hear your feet shuffling on the floor as you walk along, and it's just got this eerie ambience to it. 14 more deeds to go, sorry, not 12, it's 15 I need to get. What's the one over here? Nope. And that's the top, you can see the KO Corral. There's a few little sort of visual jokes. Ah! There is! Boom! Billy the Goat is in. Calm down, guys. Things got a little bit cheeky there. I've only got 4 bullets left, so I've got to be careful. You have no moments of invulnerability, so if you're walking up the edge of a screen, because it's obviously a foot screen game, reload my gun, and someone comes in, they can just shoot you 3 times really quickly, and that's just it. There's nothing you can do about it. But that kind of, although it's obviously a bit of a design flaw, Gringo Rochezo's in town. It kind of adds to the tension. Like, you could only need to get 2 Ds left, and then all of a sudden 3 shots and you're dead. Oh, I'm trying to find out where these deeds are. Not having much luck. Oh, there he is. Oh. Yes, got his feet. Two furthers to... Ooh, no, that's 1 life. The quick draw kid, he sounds fast. I'm getting tense now. See, where are these deeds? There's 14 of them, and they... Oh. That's okay. I've got 3 shots left. I've got to be really careful here. It's not up here. Oh, the Undertaker, I'm in there. Hey. Okay. I think they've randomised as well. They're in different rooms each time you play the game. So you just have to sort of go in each one. But it's not too sprawling. Oh. I'll have to go back to the sheriff's office. It's cool that the tombstones stay around as well. No. Oh, actually, can I go to the doctors and get an extra life? Right, I've gone around this entire strip. Let's go to the next one. Ah, boom. Reload. Should swing by the doctors really as well. Little Chief Motel. Whoa. Oh, got him in the bonds. Clint Westwood, there he is. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And that's it. That is it. Infinite death loop. But although a lot of people might think, well, that's just really cheap, the tension, I mean, I know I'm talking over this, but the tension that gets when you've got like 2 or 3 deeds left, knowing that you could literally walk through a door and get shot 3 times in the head is amazing. And to me, it's kind of the birth of survival horror. And this is, if you do fancy checking it out, I'm sure I've got a couple of copies of it because I get so panicky that one of them's going to stop working. But this is Gunfighter by Atlantis Software, and for my money, it's one of the best games on the Commodore 64. £1.99. Get in touch, Tony Love. I need to speak to you. So it's a bit of a change of tack for the next one. We're going to be playing Pub Trivia Simulator. Well, actually, on the cassette, it's just called Pub Trivia, but this is a Codemaster special, Pub Trivia Simulator. And again, this is kind of a... There's just something about the trivia games and the Britishness of the Codemasters games that were released that I just remember really fondly. So the trivia games are ones I always kind of go back to. And we're going to give them a little crack. And also, I'd just like to say that obviously, I mean, the Codemasters games are budget releases, Gunfighter's a budget release, Action Biker was a budget game, Mastertronic was a budget label, but of course, they were all my favourite games growing up, because when I was a kid, I didn't really understand that, you know, because I was so hip steep into text adventures, I mean, any visuals to me were like, oh, that's cool, there's pictures of what I'm used to just imagining. So, stuff like Gunfighter, they may be pretty primitive, although I do think it is pretty smooth scrolling most of the time. I never really played all the big ones that people talk about, like all the RoboCops and those sorts of games. That, again, the sort of side-scrolling shooters and platformers, they didn't really appeal to me. So I had a slightly different, more sort of methodical approach, I suppose, to the system. So this looks like another game with no loading music. So I'll cut this out for a sec. Quite a nice little loading screen there. It's Ollie Hardy on the left. Oh, I was wondering why there was a glass of wine then, but yeah, it's pub trivia, so that makes sense. I've checked out the buttons for this, and it's just OP and enter, well, return. I'll read out the back to you, because obviously this is a typical Codemaster special. An incredible 2,000 questions, sport, pop music, showbiz and mystery joker cards, brilliant graphics and music, all the features, all the questions, all the categories, 2 exclamation marks, just like the real thing, exclamation mark, absolutely brilliant. They were keen. They were very keen at self-promotion. I've got a feeling I really like the music in this. It's got that sort of bubbly, synthy sound that is absolutely fine. Or absolutely brilliant, rather. Well, it's loaded and the music is as awesome as I remember. So, I don't think I can... Can I use the pad for this? Oh, I think I'm going to have to... Oh. How do I... I think I might need to be in the other controller port. Some games are choosy about this. Oh, fair enough. There we go, this is working. Okay. I'm assuming the high scores are just... I thought the bottom was a dickhead then. Yeah, you can load questions. I think there's 700 questions on here, and if you go to the other side, flip the tape, carry on loading, and it loads another 700, and then I think if you do it again, it loads the rest of them. But let's go. I can't move. Have I got to go back into the other? What? Oh, I press a number, do I? Okay, well, I'll go Jason Statham. Music, well. Sound of Silence, that was Sound of Garfunkel, wasn't it? Oh, sport, my nemesis. Oh, of course, yeah, it's like a pyramid, so I can choose between sport and sport. Oh, 12 seems a bit ridiculous. Music or trivia? Should do this live, really. This would be a good one to live stream. Trivia. Oh god, a joker. Free pass! Oh my god, this could be the... Come on, baby. Is that... Oh, that was fast! I lost 10p. Oh my sweet lord in heaven. I mean... Oh yeah, for some reason the B doesn't work on my keyboard, so today I am Ritt. John Ritter. Much missed man. I'm a space head. Could be worse, it could be a dickhead. Right, okay, one more go. Maybe I'll have a bit more luck if I go Jeffrey Dahmer. Oh, we'll start off with a free pass maybe? Boom. Oh, but I have to... Oh, I'm stuck in the corner! That means I have to do sport. Oh, God. Oh, another sport. Ah, is that it? Boom. Bum, 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 bum. Great game. A really, really, really good game that I think I will have to just stream with Faye at some point. But yeah, again, it's just that simple formula and the weirdly timeless questions, unlike Quiz and Dragons, where all the questions are about like late 80s, early 90s baseball in America, so it's quite baffling. But anyway, on to the next game. Yeah, let's just listen to this music for a minute. It's so full of joy. What a game. And that is Pub Trivia Simulator by Codemasters. Sorry, ignore the cable, I'm just charging my phone for some more footage, but there's a lot of gold down here. That box is filled with Spectrum games, that fake monitor. And it was given me by someone who was just going to chuck it in the bin. So I said, I'll have that. So this is the pile of stuff I'm trying to sort of work my way through. I'm loading one up now at the moment, actually. And it's something that's always amused me is this thriller pack, Commodore 64 thriller pack. So you've got A View to a Kill with Timothy Dalton, one of my favourite Bonds. Friday the 13th, there's one here called, I can't read that, Code, what is it? Codename Matt 2, The Pyramid, and then Test Match Cricket. It just seems a bit incongruous on a thriller tape. But I really like Friday the 13th and A View to a Kill I have fond memories of, so let's see what happens. Well, I'll tell you what happened. The first game, A View to a Kill, loaded up and I played it for a bit and that was fine. But I really wanted to play Friday the 13th. Awesome artwork there, by the way. And it didn't work. So this is another one I'm going to have to buy again. Or emulate, I suppose. But this A View to a Kill, I didn't realise that there are two different versions of this. So you've got the version of the Commodore 64 is kind of a top-down racer, which is fine. But I remember A View to Kill being a game where you, by Domark, where you go through a load of mines, sort of defusing bombs. And apparently I've done a bit of research and that is the Amstrad version, so that was not a successful few moments, basically. Well, we'll never know what joys Trivial Fruit holds for us because, much like most people in Merthyr Tydfil, it doesn't work. So, I'm sure I've played it before, but again, these games are, 30, 35 years old, so all the ones I'm playing today that don't work, I'm going to put to one side and I'm just going to buy them again. I'm not going to mess around because, yeah, I love trivial games, so it just seems a shame. If that was like some weird platform or something, I would think, oh, okay, whatever, a budget thing, but I don't know, there's something about trivia games, I want to play them. So, we've taken a bit of a sojourn here, and this is it's just called Cage Match here. I believe I watched a Kim Justice video recently, and she referred to it as Intergalactic Cage Match. So I don't know if that was on like the Spectrum or something, because I know she's hip deep into the Spectrum. But I got this for €1 because I was in. I went on a stag a few years ago to Amsterdam, and obviously they had a game shop there, and I think it was called Game Over, and I flew in there and just spent a massive amount of money. Well, not a massive money. Like, they had a box of Commodore games, like Highlander on the Commodore and stuff, which I also bought, for like €1 each. So I just spent about €100 in this. So I managed to like secrete all the games I bought among everyone's suitcases just to take back to Wales. So that worked out pretty well. That was a good day. But the reason I'm putting this on, it's got cool artwork again, that kind of typical British artwork. Apologies for the light in there. But what I remember about this, because I played this last year at some point, and what I took from it was that the music was awful. It was just really atonal, and I was surprised by how bad it was. So we'll see if it's as bad as I remember. I'm assuming it's the same game as Intergalactic Cage Match, but let's have a little look. It's got like the controls look pretty robust. You've got I can see where they've got other Mastertronic games you can buy, and Action Bike is listed at the top as it should be. That game. Yeah, so there's a lot of cool. I don't know. When I was a kid, my mother used to work in Woolworths for a while, and she used to kind of treat me. I think once a week, she would, out of my pocket money, she would bring back like a Mastertronic game or like a Disney game, or the budget ones. They're like $1.99, $2.99, and I absolutely treasured them. And I've got them all back now, but I do wish that that I kept. Much like everyone does, you wish you'd kept them at the time, really. But yeah. Oh, what's going? Are we going to be treated to any music? No. So yeah, this is Entertainment USA. Actually, it looks a bit Codemasters-y, but it hasn't got the words "absolutely" and "brilliant" on the back, so it can't be. This isn't the greatest music I've ever heard, but it's not the worst music on the system, because I'll turn that down actually. Because there's a game, I think it's called It's Only Rock and Roll, and you play like a rock band in it, and there's a bit where it shows you playing live, and the music is unbelievable. So I think that's what I was personally thinking of. But yeah, this is bad, and yet it is. It says Intergalactic Cage Match in here. You can see that there, I think. Yeah. But yeah, it's just called Cage Match on the. Oh, it just starts. I'm just gonna punch him in the face then. It's a very casual walk. Is this? What? Oh no, I just have to climb out, don't I? Can I just climb the cage? What? I don't know what the other guy. I don't even know if that. Let me have a quick look at the buttons here. This can't be right. He's not doing anything. So, joystick controls. Where's the button? It doesn't say how to get out of the cage. Oh, you just walk towards it. That's really jaunty music for someone climbing a fence. I can do like a cool flip at the top. Quite get out of it. What? How? Right. F. Right. So it's only 2 players then. There's no. F5 toggle 2 player. Ah, right, okay. It just flashes. I don't know what's changing. Ah, computer, right. Okay, so change player 1. Nope, can't. Oh, so I have to be, if it's against the computer, I have to be. Well, obviously I'll go against Master Chief, won't I? So, that it? Just... Now I can't move. What? Oh, hang on, I gotta move the slot. Oh no, don't beat me up. Don't beat up, not Hulk Hogan. Ah, there you go, I had to change that. Get away from him. Just get out of the ring. What the hell's going on? This isometric viewpoint isn't working. There you go. Oh, if I try. Oh, that is glitching. He doesn't appear to be stopping me. Guys, this game isn't very good. So there's no, like, you just choose an opponent and fight them. Who is this? Entertainment USA. Oh, right. Oh, it's just a tournament. Get, face him. Face him! I can't turn. Oh, there we go. What? It's... Oh my god, falling on the floor. Right, just get out. Do you know what? I might just see what happens when you finish this game. I'll probably edit down this video, I'm not going to lie to you. Can I just... I'm pretty sure Kim Justice said you can just... Oh, there we are. And I'm just fighting the same person over and over again, aren't I? It's not even going back to the menu to say, do you want to do something else? It's just not even like a tournament with an ending. I think I'll play another game. Right, now we're on to a game that I love very much, and that's Biggles. I remember playing this as a kid on the Amstrad CPC. I don't know if I've got 2 copies of this, because there used to be a shop in Pontypridd where I used to live called Next Level Games, and they closed down, and every time I went in there I bought something, a few Master System games and stuff, and I didn't realise they were closing down, but just before they did, I'll start this game actually as I'm talking, just before they did close down, I went in there and I bought, they had 2 copies of Biggles for like £1 each, so I bought them. Again, any time I can see like duplicates of like older games, I tend to pick up a couple of copies if they're cheap, a couple of copies if they're cheap, because invariably one of them will break at some point. So this Biggles is by Yellow Bill Services Limited, which doesn't sound like a games company, and Mirrorsoft, which is something that rings a bell. But I remember this, like my memories of this make it, maybe I'm misremembering, makes it feel almost like a really early kind of Grand Theft Auto game where you had, they were like mini games. I remember, like I said, I haven't played this for a very long time, but one of them, I know you're in a plane, and then you have to kind of get through enemy territory. I remember thinking, oh my god, that's really cool that like you play the little dude who was in the plane. Usually, you know, in games in the 80s, it was you are a plane, or you are a man walking along. I just thought the fact you could get in and out of a plane was cool. Yeah, and it was just when Next Level Games closed down, this game, because it was the last thing I bought there, just reminds me of it, and I had some good times there. And I think what was sad was the guy who owned it, I think his name may have been Mark, he ended up working in the CEX a few doors down for a bit, sold most of his stock to them, worked there for a bit, and then I don't think he's there anymore. So, I don't know, that just seems a bit of a sad story, to go from owning your own independent game store to then working for like the chain that kind of took you out. So I hope he's okay wherever he is anyway. Cool guy. Instantly amazing music. That's a good image. That would draw you in, wouldn't it? If you were a kid and you had this, you think, yeah, I'm playing Biggles. Biggles is a game that doesn't mess around. That's a banging tune. Thing is, I know Biggles is a licensed game, so I don't know if this is a theme tune from some 80s cartoon or whatever. But let's kick off. I always remember just getting shot down in this, so do I have to shoot them or can I avoid them? Oh, you can hold the button to drop bombs. Oh, that's cool. Ooh, calm down. Oh. No. Oh, that was cool. So now I don't know what I'm supposed to do now. Alright, I gotta jump across. Oh! Caught me. Struck by lightning again. It's just like... He's gonna... If he comes down here, he's dead, man. Oh! Okay. Right. Off we... That was like... That was at the Ghostbusters... Why can't I... What? I don't fully understand it. Why isn't he coming with me? Come with me. Why can't I... What? Struck by lightning again. I assume this is just the start of the game again. Cool. Oh! I've got to stop trying to blow stuff up. This is intense, I've got no idea what's happening. Whoa! Oh, come on. Get down there. Safer down there? No, no, it's not happening. Right. Oh, this is full on. How do I... Oh, is it those that are land on to pick up ammo? Nope, I just get shot instead. Come on, baby. Just get down here. There's no one down here. Oh. Right, you going to follow me this time? Can we just go down here? Do we have to go this way? You didn't come over to the left, did you? Oh, good. What? Right. Okay, so let me have a look at the instructions for this. Right. In London, 1986. Get Biggles in his time twin Jim to safety. A mad dash across. Cable strategies. You're not stick together. Press fire and down to switch control between Biggles and Jim. You can jump to the left if you want. Alright. So we can stay there and I can... I assume we're supposed to go the other way. There's... Okay, this makes more... This is quite cool. Jump to the... Oh my god. How am I gonna... How am I gonna do this? Is he gonna shoot that other guy? What's happening? Why can't... Just... Quick. Oh my god, this is awkward. This is awkward! I wouldn't mind if you jumped. Right, I'm gonna make it through that door. What? Okay. That's fun, but it's so... There's a lot going on there. But I think I could get into that if I played it a few times. But that's cool, I like the different game modes, and they're totally different. Yeah, it was good, I enjoyed that. I reckon I could... There's a screen on the back I didn't even get to with like a helicopter sequence on the top left there. I reckon I could have a good crack at that and definitely get better at it anyway. Thumbs up to Biggles. Yeah, it's a bit of a sad story when games don't work and there's nothing you can do. It's not like a, you know, if it was an Xbox 360 CD, you can get some sort of like CD, you know, to take the first layer off or to clean it or whatever. But with cassettes, if they demagnetize, they demagnetize, and it's just a bit heartbreaking, really. So, being positive, I'm moving on to another game I picked up for €1. You can see on the packet there, €1 in Amsterdam about 2 or 3 years ago now. And this is called It's Only Rock and Roll by K-Tel. And I'm pretty sure this is the thing with the single worst piece of music on the Commodore 64. So, right then, I'll see. I'll have a little read of the old instructions while this bad boy boots up. Well, that was brisk. I stopped, you know, to wait for this to load. I was just reading the instructions. The tape stopped. It's on like number 8 on the tape. It loaded in like 15 seconds, and there's so much tape. There's so much just redundant tape on that spool. But yeah, it's loaded up. I think I vaguely remember this one. It's basically, it says in here, you've got to text and graphics game with 3 levels of gameplay. Object is become a star. To achieve this status, you must have gained 1,000 popularity points, saved £1 million, and owned 3 status symbols. So off we go. Oh, that was just a loaded screen. I thought the whole game was loaded. Okay, maybe I'll edit this up, maybe I won't. Oh, here we are. So it actually is one of the longest. It took a while to load that game, so I was very wrong when I thought it would take 10 seconds. Right, anyway, so what we call the group, well, obviously the Commodores is taken, so we'll be called... What? The Amigas. And now my B button works. Good. Okay. Well, let's start on level 1. You know, it's our first go of this. Happiness 25, energy 1,000. Okay. Oh, that's a tough. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can see. Status report, write a song. Well, we've got to write a song before we do anything, haven't we? I need inspiration. Why do I look like a wimp? They always look into my eyes. Take my hand, jump on it. Loving you is like a wimp. Why should I phone her up? Let me walk your dog. Do-wop, do-wop. Kissing is like a raw steak. You never look into my eyes. So get down on boogie. I was shaken but not stirred. Song rating 9 out of 10. With a classic like that, how can I say no? No, I don't need a status report. Right then, I suppose we should tour. Or D at concert, maybe? Oh, we can go busking, there we go. Well, I've got to put full energy into every performance I do, obviously. You earn $140, your popularity is 10. You're arrested and fined £300. So I'm £160 down. Well, let's get a manager, for God's sake. Mick Elise, Tommy Trust, Danny Damned. Danny Damned! He only takes 3%. Come to me. Or 9%. Nope, don't need a stage report. I've got a song. So, I suppose we should make a record. Let's go on a tour then. We're just going to get arrested for on a tour. Other option, 0. Alright, as it goes back to this, so. Okay, we'll do a tour. Britain. Let's do. Hang on now. 20-day tour. Costs $9,000. 2 months. Let's do it, come on. 800 energy and I got 20 concerts to play. 15, I reckon. Oh, here we go. Oh, the music. Saying that, it looks like it's making its money back. I've made my money back. Oh my god. Oh, this music. I see music. Made a profit of $9,000. Boom. Oh, this is it. Get ready to see the absolute worst piece of music on the Commodore 64. drummers in time. Oh, it's like lift music from hell. Okay, let's have a status report. I got 30 grand. Oh, government tax groups. Can I make a record? Ah. Get status symbol. What's that? Private island. No. I kind of want to tour again. I mean, I got so much money from that. Maybe I can just play one-off concert. Local pub. 200. I want to get full tilt into this. Well, obviously, the other one was me on a tour, like a full nationwide British tour. So I'm sure that the highlights on this particular one in a nightclub and a pub will be totally different. He's not even singing, he's just dancing. Again, the drummer's in time, that's fine. So yeah, I think you can see how this game goes on, but it is oddly addictive because of the sort of random factors. I spent about 5 or 6 hours one day last year playing Rockstar Ate My Hamster with my brother, and it's just the fact you get to name your own songs and just ridiculousness of what happens makes it fun, and this is kind of a precursor to that. I do like these games. They're fun when you play with someone else because you can just choose what you're going to call your song. Like in this you can't, but you can choose what you call your songs in Rockstar Ate My Hamster and make decisions together, and it's just bonkers. Just it feels kind of random, but also just fun to sort of make your way through. So yeah, It's Only Rock and Roll, and yeah, it's a fun game. The music and the sound effects aren't the best though. I mean, this is 1984. I do like as well that on the cover it's Elvis Presley with egg on him getting a tomato thrown at him. Good. It's quite clear that every time the Commodore 64 gets booted up in this house that I end up playing Dizzy, and this is that time. I cannot wait to hear that music. And there it is. This game is hard. All the Dizzy games are hard. And the one I remember the most is Fantasy World Dizzy, but I may play through them all just for a few minutes just to see which ones I remember. But I remember this one you can only hold one item, and it's a saucy one. Really like this screen. It reminds me of Nosferatu the Vampire, which used to give me nightmares when I was a kid. But I also really like how, like, Nosferatu the Vampire here, sorry, Vampire, not Nosferatu, I'm getting my games mixed up, is just buck-toothed with a single tooth jutting out of his face. Well, this is good music to start this off. This is something that Entertainment USA could learn a thing or two from. What a tune. Well, this was a really pleasant surprise. This is actually a game that I remember, I'll get some footage now, I'm just holding the camera at the moment, from my childhood, and I really liked this. I remember thinking this was really cool. What is really funny though, is that in the, let me get this right, there's a typo in the manual that says, there it says, the 3 symbols which will finish off the beast Dracula, stake, hammer and cross. Or, if you read the previous page, slate, hammer and cross. So obviously Dracula must need his roof done, Well, this has turned out to be the perfect example for me. I've just had a few goes, just to kind of, because I got excited basically for what I wasn't recording, and because so many memories came back, I thought I have to play this again. And I mean, this is a game I literally haven't thought about in. Well, I was born in '83, had an Amstrad in '86, '87, so I probably in 30 years, well, easily 20, 22, 23 years. So. But this is the perfect example of a game that it's just every jump is every screen on these 8-bit sort of platformers feel like the final level on a modern game where everything is just everything has to be perfect and some is unfair. So if we start this off, sometimes you start off and the skull is actually on you taking your energy bar. You've got that. Let me get to a safe spot. So this is my character. Obviously you've got loads of enemies going around. Sometimes you start and the skull is on you, so your power bar just starts going down. I've got no lives. You start with no lives and a power bar. So I've only got a bit into this game, but I just want to give you an example of that ethos of design at the time that was quite frankly unfair. So, okay, I've started off the first screen. I can see that sparkling star I've got to collect. So an arrow shoots when I get in its line of sight, that's fine. So I'll collect the star. Oh, I got hit there, and I'll go on to the next screen. So on the next screen there's a spider which you can't really get past without being hit. And now I'll just jump across. Timed that nicely. Oh, hang on, I've fallen down into a pit with a drill in it, even though this is supposed to be like Dracula's castle. So there's a drill. I'll go over here, and nope, there's no way out, and there's nothing I can do. So I just have to kill myself. Weirdly as well, you can press down to jump in this, and up. So I'll kill myself because I can't get out of here. Boom. One life, one energy bar, just like the good old days. So I'm back to the menu. Listen to that awesome music. So I'll kick off, and. This is the second thing I discovered. Oops, that's fine. Oh, I've gone the wrong way. So, what you need to do on this screen. I quite like the jump, by the way. I know it's not ideal, but what I find about this jump is, it reminds me of like Arthur in Ghouls and Ghosts, where it's so fixed. It's fun to do, but difficult to plan. So hopefully this is fine. So yeah, of course, the enemies move when you aren't on the screen, so you just have to kind of hope that they're not anywhere near you and you come onto the flip screen. So jump over here. Arrow that I can't avoid, good. Right, there's a load of stuff that you can't really avoid here, so I'll just go across. Oh, right. Ooh. Okay, so there's a big turkey there, and this isn't Streets of Rage, but I'm going to assume that I eat that and my health goes up. Ooh. See now, you see this thing down here, right? That's flashing in the same way as the collectible earlier on and that turkey there. I thought, oh, I have to drop down there and collect it. No, it hurts you, so you can't go down there. That looks like a Koopa from... doesn't it? Anyway. So I have to... is that... yeah, that's fine. This is all new terrain for me now, by the way. I have to say, though, that this game feels good to play. Considering it's a budget title, it really makes me want to maybe have a day where I try and actually complete this. Which, I have to admit, is something that... is it going to... oh, so that's an extra life. So it's kind of like your power bar. If it maxes up, you get an extra life, which is cool. So, but yeah, this feels... it's unfair, but it feels doable. Like when I played Dizzy earlier on, what I found with the original Dizzy game, the Ultimate Cartoon Adventure, is that a lot of what reminded me then was the bat. Here, the bats in that game, they don't move in set patterns, so it's really hard to kind of judge what you're supposed to be doing. Did I? No. Well, I didn't collect that, even though I... What? Do I have to press a button on it? Oh, nope, just can't collect that key, even though if I was any closer to it, it would be in my mouth. Nothing. Nothing! I assume I need something, so I'll get out of here. Sorry, I didn't mean, oops. I didn't mean for this to turn into a bit of a... Oh, no! And I can't get out, can I? I can't. That's it. That's it. So, I was going to say I didn't mean to keep playing this, but, yeah, there we go. And that's so indicative of games of this era, where it's like one mistake, back to the start. But that is a good game. It feels good, and it's got a really nice atmosphere to it, and the music's amazing. So that is a game I will be revisiting. So here we are on to the first of... I think I've only got 2 darts games on the Commodore 64. I'm sure there are more, but I can never remember. By the way, the loading screen does not represent, like the just gonna zoomed in there. It does not represent the actual cover of the game. It's not a new release, by the way, spoiler alert, it's over 30 years old. So I've got Wacky Darts, which is loading now, and 180 by Mastertronic Added Dimensions, so Mastertronic effectively. Kind of love both the artwork on these. But one of these games was bad, and one was really good. When we moved into the flat last December, there was, I think in March or... Actually, around this time last year, like April, March time, I went through a phase of just going through a lot of the games, because obviously it takes a long time to load them up. And I remember thinking, oh, wicked, I've got 2 darts games here. And one was pretty ropey and one was quite fun. And I cannot remember which is which, so we'll find out now. I'm sure you're both as excited as I am about it. But this is Codemasters, well, actually, as I was talking then, I looked at the back. This is up to 8 players, which is quite cool. Could be good, actually, for a future gaming night. And the Codemasters sort of read on the back there says, compete with ninjas, barbarians, and aliens throwing Death Stars, axes, bazookas, and lasers. Crazy pub scenes, busty barmaids, jeering punters and TV crews. It's wild, man. There should be a comma in there, but there's not. They haven't got a comma, but they have got 3 exclamation marks, which sort of makes up for them. Now, call me crazy, but isn't this the music from Fantasy World Dizzy? This really sounds like a Dizzy game to me. They must have just reused music. Or maybe I've just played this game so much I associate it with Dizzy. But anyway, 501 it is. Start the tournament. Type your name. My B seems to be working again, so Britt it is. I like how the music carries on. Oh, it's like a pub. And that bloke down in the screen looks like an old... I feel like I've seen him on another game. Was he a mascot for something? Wacky Darts Championship. Fight to select my opponent. Oh, I tried to select the bloke who looks like he's got a drink problem. I'm against Britt the Humanoid versus Neville the Barbarian. It's not the first name for Barbarian that springs to mind. Right then. Bloody hell. We're gonna... Come on! Oh, fantastic. Totally missed. What's that? How are we doing here? 18? I'm happy with that. I do like how random the... oh, there's Neville. He's throwing axes. That's going to be really hard to... This is cool though. I do like that little pub scene. So what did he have? He's only 10 ahead. It's not a chance, Neville. Oh, is that it? No. No. It's like you kind of have some control. Like you, what I'm doing here is like with a D-pad, just it's kind of like it's weighted almost. It's not good. Neville's got to go sailing ahead here. I can feel it. But it is good. It's got that random factor that games that had technical limitations at the time really benefit from. Just a slight, especially in sort of games like this. Whereas, you know, if you get just, I mean, there's some football games where if you can just do the same thing over and over again and constantly score. I quite like how with this, there's always going to be there's definitely a level of skill and a subtle random factor to contend with. One day I won't realise it. Come on, baby. Oh, I had a 20. Get over there. Oh, did I? 3. He's not that far ahead of me, though. If I beat a barbarian at darts, I'll be really happy. Treble. Oh, hang on. That guy's wearing a Codemasters. Oh no, it says surfing, but it looks a bit Codemasters-y down the bottom. On the back of his jacket. He's sailing ahead now. Oh, come on. Oh my god. Oh god. I'll have one more round and then we'll move on to the next game, which is 180, which looks like it's got the same. Well, Neville has his go. The same kind of, you know, that is a side parting over a bald head. It looks like it's got the same kind of cartoonish ideology. Right, so Neville's sailing ahead now, which is it seems he's throwing axes at a board. Isn't? I can't. Come on, baby. No. Well, yeah, this is a cool game. This is a game that I would happily play through single player and co-op, and co-op multiplayer, because it is fun. It's a really, really good mechanic, and it's a really smooth mechanic as well. And the visuals are really cool, and the music's amazing. I'm not bored of it yet. So, yeah, this is really good. This has been a good day so far. So here we are in the realm of 180 darts, and I gotta say that this one was made in 1986. I've got a feeling, well, yeah, 1986, and Wacky Darts looks like it was made a couple of years later. And while the visuals just on the back, I think these are taken off like the Spectrum or something. They seem to be a little bit, I don't know if you can see them there, but they're a bit bland. So this is an earlier game than, but it says there, 8 opponents, digitized speech, 2-player option, live joystick control, full match play scoring, a sense of humour, superb playability. What more is there in life? Buy it. It's just a strong case. And then on the inside, then it goes on to say that you're now the owner of the only real darts game. Blah 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 blah. But I do like how in the instruction booklet it's got like a full list of dart scores, like how to finish. It takes itself quite seriously. In the wording, although Dappy Dave and normal, what's his name? What's the bloke? Bobby Charlton on the front with a sort of side parting. Basically, what I'm trying to get at is that the artwork doesn't really match up with how seriously it takes itself inside. So, wait for this bad boy to load up and see what's happening. Well, I gotta say, there's some jaunty music to kick us off. You can tell this is an earlier game than the other one. But the music's quite cool. It's quite bouncy and jaunty. So let's see what the game is like. Oh, is it one of those games after? I swear to God, I've switched around this controller port so much during capturing these games today. Right. Please? Nope, nothing. Right then, I'll just say the instructions. It doesn't tell you anything. Ah. Okay. Beer Belly Bill. I can't move anything. Maybe I was right with the controller. It just doesn't tell you. It doesn't tell you anything about control in the instructions of the inlay. Or here we go. Okay, so this is kind of. Oh, this is alright actually. It's almost like an isometric control. So. Oh, this is much easier. It's kind of like on a set pattern almost. So when you press up, down, left, right, it just goes off diagonally. That's a beer belly, that is. So if I push up now, for example, you see it kind of, I'm going around the clock now, and it is always moving, and it kind of, it's kind of a cool way to do it, I suppose. But this one feels like you could, unlike the other one, which was much more random, this one feels like you could actually get like a little, yeah, you can just get a pattern going. So yeah, this is, whilst this is nice, this is just one of those games where you've got a pattern. So it's like I'm just doing the same thing every time here and getting like either 20 or 60. It's not bad, but as I was saying with Wacky Darts, which was more eclectic, I do like the presentation of this though. I'll have one more round before we move on. Yeah. Nice little game. Nice little budget darts game. Yeah, I think I'll stop there for today because it's quite late now. I've been playing this Commodore for a good few hours, but I think what I've taken away from it is that the Commodore games are pretty, especially at expos and stuff. You can get some nice deals on, some bulk games, and I feel like I'm always discovering something new about it. As I said, apart from the sort of ones I stuck to all the time, like Curse of Sherwood and Action Biker starring Clumsy Collins, sponsored by Skips. So going out of my sort of comfort zone and playing these games that I kind of normally skim over in a bid to just think, I'll just play that one because I know I like it. It's been really fun, and remembering some older ones has been really, really cool. And I think what I'm going to do is just keep the Commodore in mind a bit more as a machine now. Maybe do another one of these videos where I go through. We've got some sealed. They're here actually. There we go. Yeah, a load of like sealed power pack things we picked up at a charity event a few years ago, and obviously I'm going to open them and play them. Hopefully they're not demagnetized, but it's been really good fun today. And the Commodore is just it's a very cool machine with its own personality, and I think that was what was so cool about the 8-bits is with the Spectrum, the Amstrad and the Commodore. Just from seeing a single screenshot or hearing like a 10-second piece of music, you know what it's from. And they've all got their own strengths and weaknesses. The Spectrum is one that I really am not familiar with. We've literally got a boxed ZX up there, Spectrum Plus 2 action pack. That, again, the same as that thing I pointed out earlier on, the case of games that someone was throwing away, and I saw them on Facebook talking about it, and I just went around and picked it up, and it's never been played because neither Faye's younger than me, so she's really not familiar with the Spectrum, and I didn't really grow up with it. I grew up with the Amstrad, and my uncle had a Commodore 64. So it's been really fun today, and I think I'm going to keep the Commodore set up for a few more days, and maybe do a few more videos on this, just going through some other games, some old ones I remember, and some that I'm just going to pick out and go through. I think we've got about 100, 150 Commodore games, so there's no shortage of them. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed just seeing some of the footage. Just to me, it's just seeing the images and hearing the sounds, and it just brings back so much, surprisingly for me, because I didn't realise how nostalgic I would be when playing it. And there are some games like Vampire and Wacky Darts which I would literally just chuck back on and play for a couple of hours, which is rare because I tend to dip into these games for like 5 or 10 minutes at a time. But yeah, it's been really good fun, and I think I will be doing a bit more of this. So I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know if there are any other kind of off-the-wall Commodore games that are cool, that especially trivia games, or just funky sports games. There was something about the sports games on the machine that just, I don't know, it was like anything goes. But anyway, I'll speak to you all soon. Have a good night. Bye bye.